There's a HaShulchan. You're there. Siman Chav Dalet Sif Chav Dalet Chav Zayin. This is Supplemental Day 121 of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi series. We said Chav Dalet. Chav Dalet. Cut. Okay, cuts around Gimel Din Yo Gimel. Shachad Rova Echad Shech the Mosif one Siman O Rova Shnaim or Mosif to two Simonim. Pisha Shita B'Drosa Groma, and you complete the Shkita with pressure or with going outside the zone. Harezuk sheretz kosher. Shnishcha the shear karoi because the proper shear was shechted. He green bitchila shlish if initially went outside the zone for a third. V'shachat shnei shlishim shechted 2/3. Harezuk sheretz kosher. Shachat shlish he green shlish because of shachat shlish achron. You shechted it properly. Went outside the zone for a third and then came back and shechted properly for the last third. It's kosher. He green shlish you went outside the zone for a third. V'shachat shlish and then you shechted the third. Because of he green shlish achron and then you went back and you went outside the zone for the last third. Harez absul it's possible. Doras or hichlit, and if you did a pressure or insertion, ben b'shlish rishon, ben b'shlish emtzoi, whether it's in the first third or the middle third, harez absul the shchita is invalid akan l'shono. V'atam shmeiko b'agroma yiresim mishar dvarim. Obviously, he's more lenient by going outside the zone and other things. Why is that? B'agroma eno makom shchita klal, because by hagroma you're shechting outside the zone. It's not a place of the shchita. It's just like cutting the animal in its foot or its arm or its leg, foreleg or the hind leg. Below being on rock, and we only require is sharovasi money. Most of the money should be in a place of shchita. The minority, which is not in a place of shchita, ain't included something. Ben miut kama, ben miut himtzoi, whether it's the first minority, the second minority. Vein a place it's only a puzzle. Rakish shnei shlish only with 2/3. Haisabak Roma was outside the zone. With shlish among shchita and a third in the zone. They initially were vasim makam shchita because then most of the sim is not shechted in the proper zone. But by pressure and insertion, where the psul is performed, the invalidity is performed in the zone of shchita. Apostles even in the first minority, but inside the middle minority. It's only okay in the last minority. Because you already completed the amount which is necessary in order to shchita to be kosher. The bracket says here, the Doras Vechlit Shlish Psula. Actually, he said when he applied pressure or inserted in a third, it's possible. It's somewhat suffix nevela. It's the language. It references the language which he used previously, which is a question of nevela. That's what he said previously. And here only is coming to explain the distinction between outside the zone, pressure and insertion. And I guess some Achronim were concerned about the difference in the language between posel and suffix nevela, but Arukh says it's not an issue. But there are those of a rabbi who say it's invalid if you shechted a third and then it went outside the zone for a third and then came back and shechted inside the zone for the last third. Because when the animal expires, when you shechted the majority, then you were outside the zone. That's the round name of the Ba'amor and the Ramban who paskan Rav Huna l'chumra and Rav Yehuda l'chumra. Well, you test on Rav. The Dito have a suffix trefa, according to them, it's a suffix trefa, ben b'chai gavna, whether it's in this case, the ben b'higrim shlish, b'shachat shlish, or, and in a case where you went outside the zone for a third, and shechted in the zone for a third, because then the hechsher shchita or nafke chiyusa when it expires is in the right zone. Then went outside zone for a third. Ramachai got the valley trade. According to Rav, that case is definitely trade because he goes after the totality of the sim. The bracket says here the pasuk Rav Yehuda, the pasuk is like Rav Yehuda in this respect. They have grama for a third, and you shechted 2/3. Those Rishonim, the Ran and the Ramban, are mako. They're lenient. But Yeshua, some say the even in this case it's trefa, and that's like Rav Asi in the Gemara there. But the reason when the reason is because when it expires on account of the majority, But in the initial you need the majority of the simon to be shechted properly. And here, when the first 2/3 are completed, true, the second shlish was in the zone, but the first was outside the zone. That's what Rashi points out. The bottom line is the Rashba is only machshir. He says because you shech the 2/3 and then did hagram in the last third. Rashi saw machshir gam chaygavna kebachol b'sli b'shchita. Rashi it says this trait also in this scenario, like he does all b'sli b'shchita. Of course, he holds even meal basar is a problem and everything. That's in the bracket says lam lebeis the time l'shem kamak rabasi kam l'shakamak rabana and sham. Okay, you have to go through a sugi in order to see what he's referencing there. Uklol the Rashi kenu. This is general pitzel Rashi came l'chatchila tzarich shchita as kol simanim. Since ab initio, preferably you should check all the simanim. Kagrech moral Moshe b'sli b'shchita. We already had his principle. When Kosh Baruch Hu taught Moshe the psulim b'shchita, this is what he taught him. Shalotei b'chol siman echad me'apsulim. There shouldn't be in the entire siman any one of the things that should invalidate the shchita. Therefore, well, you say hagrama, it's not a makom shchita, it's outside the zone, so why should it issue? Nevertheless, since it's enumerated together with all the other psulei shchita, Dino Kamosam is like them, Lipso Ape Miubasra, to render unfit, even in the last minority, Gambadide, also in the case of Hagroma. The bracket says, Canaan there, Libatam, the Rabban, Lishla Kam, the Ravashi, Chaygam, Lisa Betumura, Test Saina, and Shambarashi, Skrishte Vachule. I'm not sure he's quoting here. I think he's quoting, yes, he's quoting Rashi. Came in Chiyadadi, Vachada Gomorra Agmino, since all these psulim were learned together. In one Gemara, they certainly have in the same place and would have the same parameters. All these cases. Chav Vav. Rabbeinu Beises Yud Beis. The Rambam, the Beises Baskin Rambam. Rabbeinu Ramakas and Melachik Amak Roma. Bein Miukam Bein Miubasa Bein Miukam Mevesh. Of course, he says that the minute is to be matched by outside zone, whether it's the first minority or the last minority, whether it's the kana, whether it's the treka, bein b'veshet, or the esophagus, or kalashono. Anytime minute bilvad, it's not just a minute. They show something das Rashi. That's the primary law because we hold like we rule like Rashi. Therefore, you can be lenient even in the case of a great loss. All those are grounds which you said are kosher. According to the post, we say they're kosher. It's only when you went above the zone, out of the zone, in the trachea above. If you do it at social veshet, you didn't touch the esophagus. But below in the which means above the epiglottis. But if you went below in the kana, it means into the lung, the motion where the psul is even in a mashu, in a tiny, minute amount. Showing my shit as a rov, if this happened before the shchita, the majority of the male treif, it's automatically treif. Came veshet, so to by veshet, bein the samala, bein the mata, whether you go too high or too low, no matter what. No matter where you go, the puncture is even the smallest amount, right? It's a treif. So therefore, even if you went too high out of the zone by the trachea, is a question. Maybe you touched the veshet in that out of the zone. Shchita, Potrev misavitz trev out of a suffix. Rakan the rov only happens after the shchita. The majority shuv ein choshim not concerned. Again, not quite the Rashi. Quite the Rashi problem anyway. Zal calls that's a machshir. That's actually it's points out here. So he goes it's kosher. Obviously done the kind like a Rashi, but according to us, so like Rashi trev going trev no matter what. Moshe goes silently. Said vein afgin chos. There's no ramification. Anything we just said. L'chein yisrael shol l'shchol b'emtzah savarei for shal l'shol has to be meticulous to shef the middle of the neck. For us, lovi day shum hagrama, he won't come to any out of the zone. Ishuk Moshe Kosav Sif Siman Chav, as he wrote previously in Siman Chav Sif Yud Av to Gimel, and that's it for today. And tomorrow we go on to Ikur.